This is the plaintiff, Zachary Timko. He says the defendant was his tenant, and when he moved out, he left behind a ton of garbage and a cockroach infestation. Now the guy's sending him threatening messages demanding his security deposit back. This guy thinks he's owed money? Fat chance. He's suing for $1,379.99 for additional damages not covered by the defendant's security deposit. This is the defendant, Joseph Philidor. He says the plaintiff's an out-and-out liar because he never said a thing about the apartment being messy when he left. In fact, the guy had a new tenant living there 2 days after he vacated. The plaintiff's got some nerve keeping his security, and if it's a lawsuit he desires, bring it on. He's accused of leaving behind a pigsty. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,500 for the return of his security and breach of good faith.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff rented to the defendant and says the defendant left a boatload of garbage and cockroaches. But the defendant says it's all a big lie. It's the case of La Cucaracha.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Zachary Timko, you are suing Joseph Philidor for $1,379.99 in cleaning and damages when your tenant left your place. You are counterclaiming him for $500 of a security deposit that you say he's wrongfully withholding, plus $1,000 for holding the $500.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, gotcha. Exactly. All right, talk to me. What happened?
So I'll start from the beginning. Somewhere on or about 2008, I had a tenant leave and recommended Joe to come on board. And Joe came into the apartment, no problems. Some years later, he came to me with a problem and said, "Hey, my mother and my sister are coming here from, I don't know where it was, Texas or somewhere." And he was not sure what to do. I said, "Hey, man, you can live there with them, no problems. I don't have a problem. You're trying to do right by your family, no problem. You can do, $20 should cover any extra utilities." Time goes on. His mother had some challenges, making some ruckus in the neighborhood, some things like that. She developed some mental conditions and stuff. Right. So she'd be talking to herself or doing things, the neighbors kind of complained. She started putting her trash out front. Raccoons came, my soon-to-be future ex-wife calls me, blah, blah, blah. We need to get rid of him. And I'm like, you know what? Why? Well, the person's not doing any harm. Just let it go. It's not a big deal. So we keep going on. And then one day he's like, well, I got to move out. I got a girlfriend. Well, it turns out he was living with his girlfriend, whatever. He moves out. Okay, no problem. So
How long was he your tenant?
Oh my goodness. 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years almost.
8 years?
6 years, ma'am.
6 years. All right.
2008 to 15.
All right. So he moves out, and the problem, according to you, is that he left the place damaged.
Right. Well, here's some pictures too. I mean, the screens are knocked out. There's stickers all over the refrigerator. Was a leak apparently that they never reported in the kitchen that dropped down and did it. And then there was just a massissive cockroaches everywhere.
How many roaches we talking about?
Oh man, there was, depending what bombing of the whole, trying to get rid of them kind of thing. So there was enough that even the new tenant complained.
So the new tenant moved in there. How soon thereafter?
A couple weeks. It's a couple weeks.
Do you have the new tenant's lease?
No, because he didn't have a lease.
Okay.
Which, at this point, so if I continue, so at this point it's kind of a mess, whatever, and I'm cleaning it up because I'm like, whatever.
And you weren't going to pursue action against him?
No, I wasn't. I was like,
whatever. But then you got a call from him asking for his security deposit.
He texts me and says, hey, my security deposit. I'm like, look, Joe, man, there's way more than $500 damage. I mean, the stickers on the refrigerator that I can't get off are more than that, whatever.
How much was his security deposit?
Well, I went to my future ex and said, so can I get the lease and the security deposit? And he goes, well, there is no lease. And I don't know if he gave a security deposit because there's no evidence of anything. I mean, it was kind of a handshake deal to move in. So I said, you know what, whether or not, as I stand here, I don't know if he gave a security deposit because I don't. And she doesn't know.
Show me the damage and let me go to you.
There's
Do you have
some
any
pictures.
proof that
There's
you
not
pay?
a lot of pictures there because.
Gotcha. Did you pay $500 security deposit?
I did pay, ma'am.
What evidence do you have of that?
I don't have any evidence.
Why don't you have evidence of it?
I paid cash.
I know, but cash doesn't leave this hand. without a receipt going in this hand.
His wife did
you grab
give me-
the nearest roll of toilet paper and the nearest crayon, and you write a receipt.
His wife did give me a receipt.
She did or she didn't?
She did.
She did give you a receipt.
Yes, that was 6 years ago. I'm not good about keeping it.
Imagine that's the point of the receipt, right? Is to keep it so that you
Yeah.
have something to show for, you have a little file that says tenancy or whatever, and then you keep your lease and you keep your receipt so that the day you do need it 6 years down the road, you have it.
Right.
So the defendant says he paid a security with cash, no receipt. Out of luck?
He's out of luck.
Out of luck?
He's out of luck.
Out of luck. Who hasn't done? Out of luck.
He's out of luck.
Okay, there you go. Go inside the courtroom.
Was there a lease?
There was a lease. And
You don't have the lease?
I don't have a lease either.
Dude, the lease would say whether you had a security deposit. Everybody here's just,
Your Honor, I never.
what's that? The roaches? The dead roaches?
Yeah. There was a picture she sent me that I was like, because this wasn't where I was going with this, so I didn't take pictures.
Who sent this to you?
My future ex, she sent them to me so she could yell at me how I should be more in line with getting releases and stuff and taking pictures and being all this way. But, I figure people have respect and courtesy, and that's
How'd
why
that
I'm
work
in the
out for you,
courtroom.
sweetheart? How did that work out for you?
It still works good because the next guy came in and he doesn't have a lease and he decided he's going to college and he didn't even stay there a year. But you know what, Your Honor? This isn't about the money. I don't need the money. I'm not rich.
No, it's a
I'm not
public
poor.
service.
It's just about
What
it's
happened to
just
the
about
screens?
when
The
you help
screens you
people.
admit, right? The screens you admit that you broke the screens. Okay.
They are broken.
All right. What is this supposed to be a picture of?
Oh, that's under the sink, the kitchen sink. There was a leak that she never told us about, so it just kept leaking and leaking and leaking. And I own the leak, but if you don't tell me it's there, it just caused more damage. I ended up replacing the elbow, the arm, everything coming
It's
out.
not a big deal, though. I mean,
It's not a big deal, but she took the picture and sent it to me, so I do what I'm told.
do you? If you did, she wouldn't be your soon-to-be ex-wife.
Well, yeah.
So what we have then are a few roaches, a sink that looks like every other sink in America,
The refrigerator with the stickers.
the screens for sure. That's it. That's what we have. And we have this refrigerator with a bunch of stickers all over
Which
it.
she's
My daughter in college, what is that?
Which he's charging me the whole fridge.
All right, so how old was this refrigerator?
Wow, I have no idea. Obviously, it's at least 6 years
Was it the same
old,
one that
but-
you always had there for 8 years?
Whole time I was there.
Okay, so it's an 8-year-old refrigerator, and you are attempting to obtain replacement value for it at $469, but you don't get replacement value. You get the value of the item at the time that it's damaged. Okay, do you have any receipts for anything?
No, because
Again.
Look, I got plenty of stuff to do. This was kind of like this is not my life, Judge. I got baseball games with my kids and teaching my daughter to drive. And I was hoping that he would just be like, okay, whatever, $500. I know there's damage and hey, this is all cool. Hey, thanks.
Okay, let's go over a few things. As entertaining as I find it to hear you speak, you have no clue if the money was paid. So I'm not going to listen to you and find that to be adequate proof against him when he says the money was paid. He knows exactly the amount. He testifies that he did it. Your wife is not here to contradict him. And the best you can describe is a situation where you're like, I don't know if there was a $500 pay. So we're going to assume for the purpose of the discussion that $500 was paid. And then we're going to discuss damages. And then we'll discuss whether or not you get treble damages if I find that it was, quote, wrongfully withheld and what wrongfully withheld means, because that's the only time you're entitled to treble damages. All right. First of all, I need an estimate for the screens because he confesses to the screens. He's like, we're done on the screens. So you come here totally empty-handed. And what ended up happening with this refrigerator?
Oh, it's
still there for the new tenant?
It's just sitting there, yeah.
Oh, sitting there with the new tenant's food? Apparently, the new tenant either got these stickers out or could care less. So you're not damaged in that regard. Here's what's going to happen, guys. The law in your state says if the money is wrongfully withheld, you get treble damage. This isn't the kind of case that I would call wrongfully withheld. They don't remember whether you had a deposit, and you didn't have proof that you had a deposit. I kind of consider those cases wrongfully withheld, or when they're completely making up damages. This isn't completely making up damages. Other than the screens, though, I don't see what. So this isn't a case where I would treble the damages. They have no proof of what the screens cost. I can't imagine that 2 screens are. I don't even know what they would cost. What say you they would cost?
I can't remember. I don't. I have no clue. $40, maybe $30. Put it on the credit card and pay it. Right?
Right.
It's kind of like
right. And for each one or for both of them? Probably each one. Yeah. All right, I'm going to deduct $60 from the $500, and I'm going to order you to pay the defendant $440. That is my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the defendant gets $440 on his countersuit. The plaintiff, Mr. Timko's just come out. I must say you have a very lackadaisical attitude about this whole thing of being in court. I mean, how do you feel?
Well, Doug, I feel great because here's the thing. You know what? I didn't want to go here until he started threatening me. I'm going to sue you. So I'm like, well, I'll just jump you to the gun. So you know what? At the end of the day, we move on. Everybody has a great life, and that's the way it is. And you look great, by the way. You look like you did way back in the day.
Hey, thank you very much.
I'm glad.
What are you
you're
going to do when your soon-to-be ex-wife is totally your ex-wife?
Yeah, get another girlfriend and go down that same road again because sometimes we just don't learn. And the new tenant doesn't have a lease either. And he was a great guy going through the time. The only thing was
you're a good guy.
I didn't like getting the threat that I'm going to sue you over $500. Right. I think we both make enough money that $500 isn't important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You must sign some documents. Thank you. Hey, thank you very much. All right, sir.
How's it going?
Well, congratulations. You won something out of this.
I'm walking out with some money in my pocket. Not bad.
Feel a little bit better now? You wouldn't have filed a countersuit had you not been sued, right?
You know what? I did it only because for the next guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If he's trying to get money out of people, he didn't do it with me. Let it not happen.
You also seemed kind of lackadaisical. Maybe you've learned something from that too.
Well, I've learned
the advice from the judge.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right. You two must sign some documents, and that'll do it for this case. Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, so the defendant says, look, he was given a receipt 6 years ago, and so who's expected to keep a receipt that long? The fact is you are, that as long as the item remains active and you need proof, you got to keep it.